Good evening. Welcome to our show. I'm your host, Karmel Melamed. Tonight is March the 4th, 2010. We're here at the Skirball Center in Los Angeles for the Progressive Jewish Alliance Awards Night. We're chatting with one of the awardees this evening, young Persian Jewish leader Sam Yebri of the 30 Years After organization received this evening's Emerging Young Leaders Award. Thank you so much for chatting with us, joining us for the show, Sam. Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with PJA? I know they do a lot of activism in the Jewish community and the larger community.
Thanks, Karmel. It's an opportunity. Pleasure to be with you. What attracted me to the Progressive Jewish Alliance is the critical work that it does in helping immigrants, especially new immigrants, have rights in the employment context and social context in Los Angeles. As a Persian Jew, I know what it means to be an immigrant to a new country, and as a member of the Iranian Jewish community, we really have benefited from people who fought for opportunity for us. And I've, over the last few years, marched in demonstrations with PJ when they're Latino immigrants, and it could be a car wash worker or a janitor trying to get a fair wage. And it's provided me opportunities to meet the local progressive Jewish community leaders, and as a result, created new opportunities for Persian Jews to become engaged in the civic community, especially on local issues. Traditionally, we care primarily for issues related to Iran and Israel, and now we see that we can have an impact locally.
This is a progressive group. They address a lot of issues that perhaps some people may consider, liberal. Do you think the Persian community is gradually coming along to some of these issues, social justice? Do you think they will be more active and engaged in these issues over time, because they seem to be a little bit more on the conservative end?
Once we go beyond the traditional issues that we care about in Israel and Iran, I think there's very strong uniform support for our Zionism, for our connection with the Jewish people. The next step of activism is what's happening at home. And most Jews that I've been reaching out to and telling about the work that I do locally, including through PJA, especially younger people, connect with that idea that we have a responsibility as a community. We've done well to take advantage of opportunities and rights and freedoms here, to give back and help those who don't have a voice, who may not have the same opportunities that we've had. So as a result, I do think that there has been a strong connection among younger people with these issues. They see it, they connect with their background. There has been some hesitation, which I think is logical, among the Iranian Jewish business community, who for them, labor rights may not be consistent with their business values. Also, the socially conservative members of the Iranian Jewish community who may not see the gay rights movement as a priority for them. But it's, they say 2 Jews, 3 opinions. There will always be dissension on some issues in the Iranian Jewish community, but there is a groundswell of support among the younger generation.
Last question for you. You're involved with 30 Years After. There's quite a bit of political activity in the Persian Jewish community. What are you forecasting for the coming years, the coming months? Do you think the groundswell is going to continue with community activism amongst the younger generation in the Persian Jewish community?
I will tell you that the number of Persian Jews who are asking to join us in interning, meeting with fundraising for local causes, and especially political work in Sacramento, City Council, and in Los Angeles, Washington, D.C. is growing every day. And creating these opportunities, and there's this tremendous untapped energy. And the members of the local political community are seeing that. They are coming to us on a daily basis to meet with our group, and we're starting to catch on that if we want to have political power, and we need to be involved in the political process. Xavier Salsky came to Sinai Temple, I'll never forget this, a few years ago, and said, you Persian Jews, you want to have political power, you want your say to matter politically, you want elected officials to listen to you, but you don't vote, you don't give money politically. 30 Years After is changing that political culture to first understand that political power for issues that we care about, and also issues that individual people care about in the community, starts through this process of voting and political fundraising, and then identifying the leaders in that community to put those networks in place. So there is tremendous potential. There is a lot of energy, education, resources that the Persian Jewish community will energize and infuse into Los Angeles politics in the next few years, and I think it's just a groundswell. We've seen David Nahai, Jimmy Delshot over the last few years. I think you'll see many Jimmy Delshots and many David Nahais over the next 5 years.
Okay, congratulations again on your award. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us for our program.